You're welcome back. Now, did you exchange the naira to the US dollar lately or bought the greenback? What was the exchange rate like? Now, perhaps it was in the region of 167 naira to 170 naira to the dollar. Now, this question will actually form part of today's discussion as we've been joined by Femi Ademola. He's the head of research at BGL PLC. Thank you, Femi, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Now, we've seen the naira come under pressure going by the fact that the limit has been removed by the central bank, in order to allow it to breathe. I call it to breathe because we've seen it hitting 170 naira to the dollar. In your own view, do you think that this directive by the central bank to remove the limit in terms of the amount that has been sold to BDC operators, will this solve the problem in terms of having to bridge the gap between the official and parallel market rates?
Yes, to large extent, it's going to handle that in the short term. We have to understand that we have quite a different market for foreign exchange. There's official market, which has been relatively stable because of the difference of the naira with the foreign exchange, with the foreign reserve. We have the interbank market, which is quite not too bad as well. I mean, the spread isn't too high from the official market. But the BTC segment and the parallel market, street market, which the CBN has decided to tighten because of non-compliance on that side and the fact that there might be money laundering activities going from that angle, has suffered a lot lately since that policy of reducing the weekly sales from the auction sales to 50,000 per week, and then the limit for what they can get from autonomous sources from the banks to $250,000. We have seen what it has done. They have expanded the spread to over 12.50 kobo. We've seen the BDC trading at 172 naira at particular point at 173 naira. Now, our argument has always been as analysts and from my own institution where we work is that in the short term we need to increase the supply. But, like again, the word we said is short term. There's a worry that CBN has that this avenue might be using for money laundering, it might be using to dollarize the economy ahead of political activities and stuff. So we need to be able to nip it in the bud. And how do we do that? We need to study where exactly this demand is coming from. Are they genuine demand or they are not?
I thought that actually the RDAS handles that in terms of having to have the proper documentation for those who want to buy the foreign exchange, because we used to have the wholesale Dutch auction system before, but looking at the retail Dutch auction system, which has to do with having to know the exact amount you want to buy and what you want to use it for. Now, is this contributing to the challenge that the BDC operators are facing in terms of not having enough to buy and sell to the end users?
To a very large extent, the idea of the retail Dutch auction is actually more directly at banks more than to the BDCs, because most of the time BDC sales are not pre-sold, unlike the bank that you walk into and tell them, I need this foreign exchange for this, to import some material or to pay for school fees or pay for medicals, pay for mortgage, and also that can be pre-arranged. That's the one that the retail Dutch auction can sort out. The one for the BDC, the way the CBN has been doing it is what the CBN been doing it. They sell a blanket of $50,000 to them every week, which they are supposed to now provide return to afterward. If you see the new release that have been done, it's about, okay, now you can buy more than $50,000. They didn't put any limit anymore from the bank, but you must
as authorized dealers.
Yeah, as authorized dealer, but you must give us return for it. So from day one, the RDAS didn't really affect the BDC because you usually have to come back and give it to CBN. Not that they will load the returns and then give it to CBN, or which CBN will now back it up with foreign exchange. That's totally different in a different ballgame. So from the BDC segment, it is more like they have access to the fund, they sell it to the willing buyer, then they prepare document to back it up. Of course, for a long time, CBN have been complaining of forgery of document or even non-preparation of returns, because in so many instances, these deals are usually street deals than really original deals, and that's the concern of the CBN. We need to know exactly what these demands are for. And
sometimes it's driven by speculation.
Yeah, it might be driven by speculation, but to what extent? I mean, people keep dollars in the house for so much. People that trade in that and do FX, yes, they do it, and the way they do it is quite different from the kind of demand that we get. Yes, speculation can do it to when we feel that naira is going to fall. For example, if I'm able to analyze to decide that Nigerian government is going to devalue the naira, I'll probably say, okay, fine, let me have $10 in case so that I can change it back to naira, have more naira when it can come. But it doesn't happen. What happened in the FX market is that there is no so much inflow Again, what we usually find out is that during December time, a lot of Nigerians come back home for Christmas and all sorts in Nigerian diaspora, and they bring dollars, which puts a kind of supply into the BDC and street market, and kind of help demand. But it didn't happen last year. The demand was still as high as it is. So what we need to find out now is that what exactly in the long term, I mean, like this bridging of the gap.
I'm just going to ask you, because you said that there is the need to increase the supply in the short term.
Yeah, that's it. Short term, because we need to.
If the cap is removed,
yeah,
and BDC operators have access to more dollars,
yes,
what happens after that?
They are able to meet the demand as it is, and once they are not supplied to meet the demand, there's tendency that the spread will close to the official market. But the worry of the CBN is not yet out that this money might be laundered. This money is not chasing real transaction like some other thing. CBN need to now go deeply, do research to conduct exactly what is driving this demand. Again, I believe that some of the demand might be original. It's just that people don't have that patience of going through the official channel to getting things done. Submitting paper to the banks having to go to CBN, go and bid for the $100, get the dollar, give it to you. It may not be one kind of thing that you want. Because
don't you think the banks should be more detailed in this respect? Because if the central bank is looking for information as to how this money is being utilized, don't you think the banks should pay more attention to getting the information from the BDC operators, because they sell those monies to them?
Well, again, it's the returns the bank give to the CBN include all the money they send to the BDC operators. Now, the question is whether what they get from BDC operators are actually the genuine documentation. If you want people to give documentation, they will definitely give documentation. But we might have to do some understudy to really know exactly what is going on. You go to the street, not about just what people write down, but to the street to understand what exactly is driving this demand. I mean, there may be possibility that people are actually buying the dollars to import things. Now, if this importation that they are doing is original, is genuine, why not just use the official channel? And if we find out that the reason why they are not using the official channel is because of the cost, then we have to bring down the cost. If it is because of the process, then you have to reduce the processes. If it is because there is some other documentation and time, speed of process, then they have to look at how we're going to do that to make sure that people can. Because again, we are import dependent in Nigeria. For now, local productivity has not been built up in such a way that we can ignore importation. That is the only time. Even we import education now into Nigeria, everything, import everything, medical service and everything. So because of that, people will keep needing this money. Now I have to go and pay school fees. By the time I was able to raise the money, it was 2 days to the time, and I had to go to a bank. When I tell them that I had to wait for the next auction system to go and do the thing, it may delay, and that might be the reason why people just say, you know what, you give me the dollars from the black market, I just pay the school straight on. Again, CBN does not say that you cannot fund your account and ask the bank to transfer. The only thing they will say is that, okay, once you want to transfer, if it is more than $10,000, the bank, I have to report it to CBN. No problem. I'm willing to report it. It's a genuine thing. But I can't wait to go through the system because it's going to waste many time. So I want it moved today. So I go to the black market, buy my dollars, put it there, transfer to the hospital, transfer to the school, transfer for mortgages and all stuff. So some of this might be original, but we need to break it down to make it easier for people to do.
Does that mean